Two teams towards the bottom of the barrel in the West Division of the Frontier League looking to battle it out to see who will come out on top. The Evansville Otters and the Florence Yalls just minutes away from first pitch here in Florence, Kentucky at Thomas More Stadium. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Kyle Chandler joining you here on the play-by-play. And again, these are two teams that have struggled here in the early parts of the 2024 season. Luckily for them, it is still early in the year, but on the other side of that sword is one team will get a little bit worse after this three-game series, and the other team will get a little bit better, so we'll have to see who comes out on top in this three-game set. Both teams coming off getting swept. Washington doing the damage to Evansville over the last 3 days of baseball, and it has been a long road series for the Otters up to this point. These guys left Evansville on Monday around noon. They took a 9-hour bus ride to Washington and arrived. They were immediately greeted the next morning with a 10:35 a.m. start time as the first game in that series. And, well, it was the pitching staff, the Wild Things, really controlled the Evansville Bats, allowing them to score just 5 times in 27 innings of action. And we'll see how the Bats come alive today, because it was a long night for Evansville after yesterday's contest against Washington. That was a 7 o'clock start time. That game did not get over until about 10:30, which meant that the team did not leave Wild Things Park until midnight. And if you know how the Frontier League schedule works in regard to the hotel situation, the home team pays for the away team to stay at the hotel, and there was no way that the Wild Things were going to fork over another couple $1,000s for Evansville to get a good night's sleep. They said hit the road, and not just that, but Florence on the other end was already paying for the night for Evansville to come down and stay in here in Kentucky. So Evansville made the trek at about midnight, went 4 hours down southwest, and arrived. I'll tell you, they made pretty good time. A 3:30 a.m. arrival at the Holiday Inn that they're staying in, and, well, it was a long night, a long bus ride, but the news for them is that it's a 7 o'clock time here today, so they were able to sleep in a little bit and hopefully catch up on those Z's to come out sharp here in the series opener against Florence. And for the Yalls, they're coming off getting swept by the Gateway Grizzlies, and in game 3 they lost by a final score of 10-2, so the series got worse and worse for them as those 3 games went on. So they'll be looking for a little bit of redemption here in their 6-game home series to try and defend Thomas More Stadium. For the start of the season, Florence ended up winning their first 2 series, but they're on a 5-game bender and in the wrong direction. Again, losing their last 5 games to drop to 7th place in the West Division. And right behind them is Evansville. The Yalls 4 games back, and the Otters 5 games back. And right now, it is the Schaumburg Boomers and the Washington Wild Things holding down the top spot in a tie for first. Both Schaumburg and Washington are 8-3. And with that series against Washington, Wild Things were able to win games 6, 7, and 8 in a row against Evansville, again in the sweep. That was a home sweep for them, but they have been playing some terrific baseball, and Tom Vaith has done a great job of figuring out that lineup after getting swept by Schaumburg in the open weekend series that they played in. They have really come out guns a-blazing since then and have taken care of business, and 3 of those games came at the hands of the Evansville Otters. Right behind them, the Lake Erie Crushers sit 8-4 in the West Division. They are currently holding down the solo 3 seed. They are a game ahead of Gateway, who is 7-5. Then it is Windy City 7-6. And right above Florence in that spot is Joliet. They just got done taking a series off Schaumburg. They won 2-1 against the Boomers, and including in their last 2. So they were able to defend Joliet's place, and they are 5-7 on the year. Gosh, overall, it just seems like there are a couple of teams that are playing really well and a couple of teams that have struggled, and then those two teams being Florence and Evansville, but the other teams right in the middle of the mix right now. So again, it's still really, really early, and you have to take these standings with a grain of salt, because otherwise you'll get too caught up in them and you'll start freaking out, which is exactly what Evansville is losing their last three. They have a chance here to come out and take a series off a quality team. Despite Florence's record being 4-7, they have a great pitching staff, and again, the way they started the year, you know that they can make some noise in this West Division, and so they are certainly a team capable of coming out and getting the job done. It's not going to be an easy series, but with teams struggling right now, anything is up for grabs. And we talk about that 30-30-30 rule in the Frontier League, where it's a 96-game season, of course. You get 30 games that's pretty much a guarantee to lose. 30 games pretty much a guarantee to win. And it's what you do with those other 30 plus 6 games in the season, which will really mark where you're going to finish in the Frontier League. And, hell, again, it hasn't been a great start, but still lots of baseball left to play. Usually in the major leagues, they don't really worry until about Memorial Day weekend. I think you can push that back maybe a week or two before the All-Star weekend. And once that second half of the season rolls around, then it's really all guns a-blazing here. But again, we have seen some teams catch fire in years past in that second part of the year, which have propelled them, and it could be no different here this year. So again, lots of time. Those are the standings right now, and we'll go through the starting 9 for both sides. With that being said, for the Evansville Otters, they're by manager Andy McCauley. They are 4-9 on the season, and their starting 9 goes as followed. Blake Mosley in center field, he leads things off. Batting second, the second baseman, Austin Boast. David Mendham plays first and bats third. Yomar Reyes cleaning up out at third base. And then it is Anthony Calarco, the designated hitter, batting fifth. Randy Bednar, the left fielder, bats sixth. Mason House out in right field, batting seventh. Doing the catching and batting eighth, Jake Green. And filling out the starting 9, Riley Delgado, the shortstop. Well, it looks like we're going to take a short break for the national anthem, so the rest of the starting lineups coming your way. In just a couple of minutes, we'll take a short step aside here on Flow Sports and the Otters Digital Network. All right, very nicely done by the children down on the field singing our national anthem. And with that, we'll flip the book over and take a look at the starting 9 for the Florence Yalls. They are led by manager Chad Rhodes, and their starting 9 goes as followed. 4-7 on the year. It's Alberti Chavez leading things off. He plays short. Craig Massey, the first baseman, bats second. Brian Fuentes out at third. He will bat third. And it's Hank Zeisler, the left fielder, to clean things up. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Zade Richardson. TJ Reeves out in right field. He bats sixth. Ed Johnson, the second baseman, bats seventh. Sergio Gutierrez does the catching and bats eighth. And it's Ashton Creel, the center fielder, to fill out the starting 9. Starting pitchers here today for Florence, it's Josh Hudgens, 0-1 on the year, and the right-hander is making his 3rd appearance of the 2024 season. 2nd game in the starting role, 7 innings of work on the mound, and a 1.29 ERA. And for Evansville, it is right-hander Tyler Ross, who is 1-0 in his 3rd appearance here tonight. 10 innings on the year, a 5.40 ERA. Calling the balls and strikes, our home plate umpire, Craig Hendricks. Out at first base, Brett Giron, and out at third is Nick Burren. The ballpark dimensions here at Thomas More Stadium, 325 down the left field line, and it is the same figure out towards right. And then out in center field, it is labeled in inches, 4,740 inches. I'll give you a moment to do the math. Well, if you're too lazy like me, I already did the math earlier, so I'll be kind and give it to you guys. 395 feet towards dead center. So an interesting way to label that one out there, but Florence is an interesting place, and I mean that in a good way. We'll talk about all the things this ballpark has to offer throughout the game today, but it really is a state-of-the-art facility, and it's one of the nicer ballparks here in this Frontier League. So Josh Hudgens finishing his warm-up tosses. He's ready to go. And Blake Mosley, the center fielder, will bat from the left side and lead the game off. He digs in. Hudgens leans in, gets the sign from Gutierrez, and he is working from the stretch. Check that into the windup. Looked like the stretch, and the first pitch is on the way outside, and it misses outside. And we're underway here at 7:02 p.m. So Hudgens, similar to the Wild Things starter Dario Frigio yesterday, has an odd motion. Next pitch swung on, lined out towards left center. That gets down for a base hit. Rounding first and heading for second is Mosley. This ball kicks all the way up to the wall. Thrown in by Creel, the center fielder, but it'll be a leadoff double for Mosley. So just 2 pitches into this ball game, and Evansville already has one in scoring position. If you were with us last night, you recall Frigio looking like he was going to pitch from the stretch and then moving his front leg back behind him. That's the same thing that Hudgens does in his windup delivery. So now it's Austin Boast. First pitch to him, righty on righty battle. He squares the bunt, pulls back on an inside fastball, 1-0. Boast had a 4-game hit streak snapped in that Wild Things series, but he was able to get back on track in the series finale. 3 for 12 in the 3 games. 2 doubles, 2 runs, an RBI, and a strikeout. Now the pitch, and he pops this one back our way. This will soar over the press box foul. 1-1 the count. Now, as we mentioned, both teams struggling as of late, and both teams getting swept in their last series. Florence to Gateway and Evansville to Washington. The 1-1 misses a little bit high. Gosh, Florence has lost 5 in a row. There was a stretch last year where Florence lost 11 games in a row. That was right before the All-Star break. The way they came out and started this year, I don't think anybody expected that. Here's the 2-1, and it's a bouncing ball hit towards short. Fielded cleanly by Chavez. He throws to first, and there's one down. So having to stay put on second is Mosley. No score between Evansville and Florence. Top of the first inning from Thomas More Stadium. Florence ended up taking 2 out of 3 games on their opening weekend series against the Quebec Capitales. And if you know anything about them, they're the 2-time defending Frontier League champions. Here's David Mendham, righty on lefty battle. First pitch misses away, 1-0. Runner on second, 1 out. And then Florence took another series. And They were off to a hot start, but again, that 5-game loss streak has plummeted them into 7th in the West Division. Now the 1-0. And Mendham gives a charge into this one. High and deep towards right center, and this will take a hop and bounce into the wall, splitting the gap, and this will be extra bases. Mosley comes in to touch home, and he makes it 1-0 Evansville. So a couple of doubles gets the Otters on the board early, and they have struck for first blood here against Florence. Now it'll be Yomar Reyes coming to the plate. Well, tonight is SpongeBob night here at the ballpark. And because of that, Florence wearing their theme jerseys, oh, they have got to have some of the best tops I have ever come across. First pitch to Reyes. Breaking ball on the outside half, called a strike. It's totally SpongeBob themed, so it has yellow lettering and numbering. Yawls across the chest, but the design of the top of the jersey itself is just so unique. Now the pitch, and it's grounded out towards second. This will move the runner over. Johnson has it, throws to first, and there's 2 down. And if you are listening to the crowd mic, you will be hearing some noises from SpongeBob throughout this contest here tonight. So kudos to the press box here at Florence, because that is just gold. Runner on third, 2 outs. Here's Anthony Calarco. Evansville leads it 1-0. Now the pitch. And it's lined back to the screen. Well, the one thing that I will say is that they still have the Grizzlies up on the scoreboard. It's not the Otters. Boy, you would think after the series that they had against Gateway, they wouldn't want to see them up on the scoreboard again. Now the 0-1. Ground ball back up the middle, off the glove of the pitcher Hudgens. He's able to retrieve it, fields it, and throws it to first to retire Calarco. Got a good piece of it, but a nice play by the pitcher to retire the side. Evansville gets one, and they take an early 1-0 lead. After a half inning of play, we're heading to the bottom of the first here on Flow Sports and the Otters Digital Network. Bottom of the first inning, and it is Tyler Ross on the mound. His first pitch to Alberti Chavez misses the zone. It's 1-0, 1-0. Evansville leads it And the pitch is swung on, grounded out towards second. Taken on 2 bounces by Boast. He flips to the bag at first. There's 1 down. Well, now for Florence, it's Craig Massey coming to the plate. A .250 hitter on the season in 10 games so far. Massey into his 11th year of baseball. That's just in independent baseball. Righty on lefty battle, and the pitch from Ross misses no, it was called a strike. Must have just caught the knees. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch. And it's sent foul to the left side out of play. Quickly 0-2 now to Massey. Well, as we were talking about in the top of the inning, Florence rocking their SpongeBob jerseys. They have the white pants, and Evansville in their all grays with the blue hats. Those are some really, really cool jerseys, and of course that's because it's SpongeBob night here at the ballpark. Next pitch slapped to the left side of the screen, foul. Massey stays alive, 0-2. Ross gets the sign. He's into the motion. The pitch. A little bit inside, just off the inside corner. And the count now 1-2. That kind of reminds you of the Nickelodeon specials that they did for football. They've been doing it the last couple of years. Now the 1-2. And here's a line drive out towards left center. This is going to be trouble. Ranging over and making a sliding catch. Randy Bednar, the left fielder, puts it away, and there's 1 down. Rather 2 down, I beg your pardon. Great range out there by Bednar. And it's 2 quick outs for Tyler Ross. Now he will face Brian Fuentes. Here's the pitch, and it misses a little bit outside. It's 1-0. Fuentes, a .314 hitter on the year. Here's his 1-0, and he sends it to the right side of the screen, foul. Fuentes has had a good start to this 2024 season. Has played in all 11 games. .460 on base, .429 slugging, and he's got 6 RBIs. Now the 1-1 from the right-hander, and it misses upstairs. Fuentes in that Gateway series was 2 for 8. Had a run scored, an RBI. He also walked 4 times. Here's the 2-1, and he takes high and away. Well, talking with Kyle Dawson yesterday, he was shocked to see the start that Washington got off to. Here's a tapper back over the mound towards the shortstop, and Delgado fields it, throws it, and it's in time to retire Fuentes. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Ross, and real quick, where I was going with that was that although Washington swept Evansville, they're off to a good start here tonight as they lead it 1-0 over Florence. We're heading to inning number 2. Here's Randy Bednar, top of the second inning, and Evansville leads it 1-0 over Florence. Josh Hudgens' first pitch misses a little bit away, and it's 1-0. The Otters striking for a pair of doubles from Blake Mosley and David Mendham in that first inning, and that scored a run. Here's the pitch, and the 1-0 is socked out towards left field, but this is right at Zeisler, and it takes a hop in front of him. And it'll be a base hit for Bednar. Well, the left fielder didn't give much of an effort to that, but it was sinking pretty quickly. Well, you all thought I was going to say he was going to catch that ball. Just keeping you on your toes. So it's a leadoff base runner for the Otters, and now it's Mason House. He was activated off the injured list yesterday. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Otters on top, 1-0, and looking to bounce back and make some noise in this West Division of the Frontier League. I gave you some of the standings in the pregame show. Now the 0-1 to House. And he takes just off the outside corner. Looked to be a changeup from Hudgens, and it's even now at 1-1. But if you missed it, recapping, Schaumburg and Washington towards the top, holding down the 1 seed and a share for first. And the pitch on the inside corner, a called strike, 1-2 to House. And it's Lake Erie right behind them, a half game out of first. Those are the top 3 seeds. And at the bottom right now, it's Florence and Evansville. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball, misses outside and low. The House is going to be a big piece to this outfield, especially since Patrick Lee got picked up by Detroit yesterday. So he will no longer be with the club. We're not exactly sure what affiliate he will be sent to out of the gates. Here's the 2-2. And it misses downstairs. But that was a huge signing for the organization. And that makes it 92 MLB signees in the history of the Otters. Here's the pitch. Runner goes. 3-2. Misses inside, ball 4. So after falling behind 1-2, House is able to draw a walk and he'll head down to first base. Bednar advances up to second. Runner in scoring position now, still nobody out. Top of the second, and it's Jake Green. We had the chance to talk with Green before the game today. And while I was having a discussion with him, I said, dude, you got a cannon behind the plate. He's like, yeah, that's kind of my trademark. That's how he brands himself. Now the pitch to him, and he waves and misses 0-1. 280 hitter as well through 7 games here in this 2024 season. He said he's still trying to figure things out with the bat. Well, if he keeps on pace with where he's at now, with his defensive prowess, he'll be just fine. Now the 0-1. Little bit off that inside corner. Evens the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Otters lead it 1-0. But for Green last year, he took way too many pitches, and he told me that now he's chasing after way too many pitches. So he's trying to find that middle ground right now. Here's the 1-1. And he takes a strike at the knees, 1-2. Green still in search of his first extra base hit. He's got 2 RBIs on the year. And because he has chased, he has yet to walk. But again, this is a guy that's hitting 280. Jumpy lead out there at second for Bednar. The pitch home, and it's lined into right field. Base hit for Green. Just got over the second baseman, Johnson. That'll move everybody up. And the bases are full of Otters here with nobody out. We're in the top of the second. They lead it 1-0, and it's Riley Delgado coming to the plate. So a couple of singles and a walk. And now Hudgens, the right-hander, is in some trouble here. Delgado took the series off against Washington. The last time he saw action on the diamond was against Joliet. Righty on righty battle. Hudgens, a long lean in. Now the pitch, and it's a fastball that misses outside. And thinking back to those standings right now in the Frontier League, it's hard to take those with a serious attitude towards them as the next pitch is fouled back to the screen. 1-1. Yeah, you'd certainly like to see Evansville higher than they are now, but another conversation that I had yesterday with Kyle Dawson, the Wild Things broadcaster, is he even said there's no way that Andy McCauley will let this continue. 1-1 is a fastball outside, 2-1 the count. He's just too good of a manager, and he is one of the best to do it ever in the Frontier League. So he is going to, and it's okay to have some early growing pains in the season. You'd rather have them early than late. The 2-1, swing and a miss. Big cut there from Delgado. Turn 14, 2 RBIs, a walk. Hudgens ready. Glove at his belly, and he kicks and deals. 2-2, bouncing ball in the dirt, block. Bases loaded. Nobody out here in the top of the second. 1-0 Evansville. And a good battle brewing here between Delgado and Hudgens. The right-hander, 0-1 on the season. This is his third appearance, second in the starting role. 7 innings and a 1.29 ERA on the campaign. The payoff pitch misses inside, ball 4.